We are going to continue with 1.3. 1.3 is about patterns and sequences. Okay, previously you have learned about patterns, the meaning of patterns, and also sequences. So we are going to look into 1.3.1 here. It's about pattern of a sequence using numbers, words, and algebraic expression. So we are going to look into this later on how to use number, word, and algebraic expression to show the pattern of a sequence. So let us look at the next example here. Describe the pattern for the number sequence 1, 9, 17, 25, 33, and by using numbers, words, and algebraic expression. So we have to apply these three over here to describe the pattern of this number sequence. So firstly, we are going to use number to describe it. So how to use the number to describe it? This is the first one. You are going to find out the pattern, right? 1 becomes 9, 9 becomes 17.
Plus 8.
So you can see the pattern already, which is plus add each of these. Which means the number that we are going to describe here, you just need to say the pattern is plus add. Okay, not really you use the symbol of plus add like this lah. You also can write down addition of add lah. Addition of add. So it's still a number. Okay, when it comes to word, so previously also you have learned on how to describe using word, meaning that plus add or addition, add to the previous number, right? So that is just how you are going to describe using word. So you can see the answer given here. Therefore, the pattern of the above sequence is add to the previous number. So you can write down add to the previous number. That's enough. Okay, whereby for the third one, algebraic expression, that is a little bit different over here. You have to look for the algebraic expression that is appropriate to represent the number sequence. So first, how do we find out the algebraic expression is like this. This list of number, I want you to do it like this. You list now vertically. 1, 9, 17, 25, 33. I think I'll list down on the right now because I need the space for that. And then you write the equal sign after each of it. This part is very important because most of the students don't know how to form up the algebraic expression. So usually the number that I will come out with the first number over here will be the first number appear. Usually it's the first number appear. Sometimes it can change. Okay, like this. Then you have to figure out over here how to get a 1 after that. For the first number here, can you see that? 1 equal to 1. And then how do you get a 1 after that? So do you have any idea how to get a 1? You have to add with something else. And it depends on the word and numbers. You see, the number and word is add. So you are going to write down add also. But then you have to figure out add times what? Then you get a 1. So it's a 1, right? So add times 0, you get a 1. Add times 0, you get a 0. 0 plus 1, you get a 1. And you continue. Usually this part will represent the value that changes. So after 0, you can go ahead with 1. Add times 1 is add. Plus 1, we get 9. That is how we carry on with the next number. So we have 0, 1 here. Continue with 2. So 8 times 2, 16. Plus 1, we get 17. And I just carry on. The rest will be correct already. And because of the dot up here, so we will also have dot later on in our expression. Okay, so how to form out with the expression is the number will be 1 plus 8 times n. This part here, can you see that? 1 plus 8 times n and then comma with the condition of n is equal to 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'll show you the answer here. Okay, therefore the pattern for the number sequence can be expressed as 1 plus 8 to the power of, 1 plus 8 times n. Okay, this is 1 plus 8 times n. Sometimes it can be written like this also. Okay, where the value of n is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, dot, dot, dot. How to get this? This one is from the list that you get. If you start with 1 here, then you're going to start with number 1 here. 1, 2, 3, 4. But because we start with 0, so you're going to list down every number that we have from 0 to 4. The rest will be just dot, dot, dot because of the dot, dot, dot up here. Okay? So, can I show you another example? Because this is the first time you are looking at the algebra expression, right? If I give you another 2 examples, you see whether you can solve it or not. So, this is one of it. I try to write it on top here. You take out a piece of paper and then you try this out. For example, I have a list of 4, 2, 4, 8 lah. I don't want 2. And dot, dot, dot. Okay. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, and dot, dot, dot. Can you come out with the algebra expression for me? So first, what do you do is you are going to list down the number vertically like this. That will be 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. And you write down all the equal sign after that. The purpose is for you to find the pattern of the algebra expression so that you can come up with the expression here. Okay, what should I write here? This one is the first number. What is the first number that we have?
4.
Correct.
4.
Yes, very good. So we are going to write down 4 here. Okay, since it is 4 already here on the first number, so you have to figure out sometimes how to get a 4 in front. This one, 4 is the first number. How to get an 8 in front. So what are you going to do? Pardon?
Times 2.
Okay, this one times 2, right?
Yes.
Then what about the first one?
Times 1.
Okay, times 1. So you can see the sequence already. This one times?
3.
3, right? Times 4 times 5. So the algebra expression that we can form for this number sequence is equal to 4n only. The value that changes over here, it represents the n, just like this one. The value that changes here, it represents the n. The rest is fixed, you just copy down. So we only have one fixed number, which is 4 here. The one that changes is n. So the answer is 4n with the condition of, I write to the front a bit, with the condition of n is equal to, you have a list.
4,
Yeah, very good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, n dot, dot, dot. That's all. Okay, this is one of the example. I give you another set of numbers. See whether you can come out with it or not. I write it down here. 2, 5, 8, 11, 14. So this one you always have to figure out how to come up with a proper algebra expression. So you look at the pattern here. 2 becomes 5. So you can see how much is the difference already, right? The difference, how much is the difference?
3.
Plus 3, right? Correct. Sorry, I write down. Plus 3. So what am I going to do is I'm going to list down 2, 5, 8, 11, 14 vertically and write down all the equal sign. Okay, usually this part over here, like I have told you, like this question here, I'm going to put in the first number, right? But this one, if I put in the first number, if you can come out with the correct algebra expression, Yeah, no problem. Sometimes we can have more than one algebraic expression that is suitable to represent that number pattern, number sequence. So this one, you can use 2 or you can use other number like 3. Okay, 3 for example, if I use 3. I'm going to multiply the 3 with one number here. So this part will represent my n. You have to figure out yourself, you have to see how are you going to come up with the pattern. So to compare the 3 with the 2, if I multiply by 1 here, I get a 3. So what should I do to get the 2? I should minus 1. So let's see whether I can do like this. I minus 1 for everything, and then I'm going to determine the value of the n that I have over here. If this is a 1, can I carry on with 2? The n must be in order, just like a consecutive number whereby it carries on. You plus 1, plus 1, plus 1. It must be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It carries on in sequence. So if I use 3 here, 3 times 3, 9. 9 minus 1, yes, I get an 8. 3 times 4, 12, right? 12 minus 1, I get 11. And then 3 times 5, 5 minus 1, I get 14. So all correct, you see? So it could be a fixed number you plus with something else, or you can have a number here, you multiply with the n, you minus with something else. And sometimes it can go like this. I show you. It can go like this, 2n squared also can, the algebraic expression. So there are many kinds of algebraic expression you have to come up with yourself. Okay, so for this pattern here, the number sequence here, the algebraic expression is 3 what?
3n minus 1.
Very good. 3n minus 1 with the condition of n is equal to
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
2, 3, 4, 5, and dot, dot, dot. Okay, Anna? Only this part is quite tedious. So later on you will have exercise regarding this. You have to keep trying until you get the correct algebraic expression. Okay, so we move on first. Later on you will have to practice this. Okay, now we enter into 1.3.2. It's about the terms of a sequence. So in a sequence, we will have many terms like the previous number sequence over here. You can calculate this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 terms over here. Okay, that is the meanings of term of a sequence. The nth term in a number sequence and is written as Tn, whereby T is the term and N is the position of the term. So term N is the n term. That's the meaning here. Okay, we look at example here. For example, 4, 8, 12, 16. From the sequence above, the term 1 is equal to 4. Term 2 is equal to 8. Term 3 is 12. Term 4 is 16, and so on. Okay, and so on is actually remaining, it represent term 5, term 6, and so on. Now, example, set the fifth term of the following number sequence. So you're given 3 terms over here. To set the fifth term, first, you need to know the pattern. How is the pattern?
Plus 8.
Very good. Plus 8. So each of these is plus 8. So now you can list already. Since you know the pattern, you can list down the term one by one. Term 1 is equal to what? Term 1 is 2, right? This is term 1. Term 2 is
10.
10, correct. Term 3 is 18. So carry on. Term 4 is 26 because we plus 8. So now you can answer the fifth term. Term 5 is equal to 30.
34.
Yeah, correct. So you just answer the question. Hence, the fifth term is 34. That's all. Okay? Actually, if you look at the 5 over here, the fifth, they use a big capital 5 here with a small th to represent the fifth. But I think it's the same lah. If you want to write down the fifth like this, there's not much different. Huh? Okay, so you find the fifth term already. In the next one, you are going to determine how to get the number of what term. For example, it's go this the other way around. They ask you fifth term is what? Now they will give you a number. This number is which term? So you look at the next example here. Given the number sequence 65, 60, 55, 50 and dot 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 here, determine which term in the number sequence is 40. You see? So you have to find out which term is 40. So first of all, before you start, you need to find out the pattern first. How is the pattern? Very good. Once you find out the pattern, it will be very much easy for you to determine already. So next thing, you list out the term one by one. Okay, what is the term 1? Term 1 is
65.
yes, correct, 65. So I carry on. Term 2 will be 60.
60.
Yes. Term 3 is
55.
correct, 55. Term 4 is
50.
correct, 50. So we haven't reached 40 yet, right? We have to keep continue. After 50 is what?
45.
45 because you minus 5. So this will represent term 5. And then, okay, now we reach 40 because we minus 5. So this is term 6. Yes. So when they ask you to determine which term in the number sequence is 40, so you just write down hence 40, or you can write down term 6 is the number sequence 40, or 40 is the 6th term by referring to what you have found out here. Okay, Anna?
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we have one more example here. There is a problem solving. You look at this picture later on. This one. Okay. Ever see this kind of something like motor or not? It's an automatic fish feeder. Anyone have an aquarium with a fish at home? You rear fish as your pet? Yes, Ahmad. What fish are you rearing? Again?
Goldfish.
Oh, goldfish. How many goldfish do you have?
3 currently, but before mostly.
Oh, you have before this is more than that. Oh, wow, that's nice. Goldfish. It's a very pretty goldfish. Okay, let us look at the specification given first regarding this automatic fish feeder. So if you have fish at home, it's very good for you to have this. Sometimes when you go traveling, the feeder can help you to feed your fish. So the specification here, the container size, it looks like a container size, just moderate. And then it can store dried food and pellet and may be used. A timer is used to arrange the feeding time. So you can set the timer here, what time you want to feed the fish. And it uses the latest technology to prevent food from getting moist or stuck in the container. So it must be airtight, I think. Then it can be operated manually or automatically. For example, now if you don't want to use the timer, you want to feed the fish straight away, maybe you can just push any button and then the machine will help you, give you a certain amount of the food and then feed your fish. And lastly, digital screen display. So it refers to this part, digital screen display. Okay, now we look at the question regarding this automatic fish feeder. Okay, this is the question here. The picture shows an automatic fish feeder and its specifications. If Angry decide to feed the fish 4 times a day, with the first feeding time at 7:35 a.m., at what time should he feed the fish for the 3rd feeding? Okay, now my question for you. What is the first feeding time?
7:35.
Okay, 7:35. So if you want to feed his fish 4 times a day, you have to determine the number of hours that we have in a day. How many hours do we have in a day?
24 hours.
24, right? So we are going to divide 4, right? Because we want to feed 4 times a day. So how long do you think for the interval in between the first and the second time? The interval between the first and the second time is how many hours? Can you determine or not?
6.
Yeah, correct. One day we have 24 hours, right? So 24 you divide by 4, you are going to see the interval of 6 hours. So we will come up with this. First, you understand the problem. That is the time for the third feeding for the fishes. That is what is requested in the question. They want you to find this out. So the second part, planning the strategy. This is just to let you know. You don't have to show this. We know that one day is equal to 24 hours. So each feed will be 24 divided by 4 equal to 6 hours. So this is for you to let you know the interval for each feed is 6 hours. Okay, the next thing, you have to implement the strategy that you found out already, 6 hours over here with the initial feeding time, 7:35. So we are going to add one by one. Because the pattern is 6 hours. So term 1 is 7:35 a.m. Term 2 will be 7:35 plus 6 hours. That will be 1:35 p.m. afternoon already. Okay, now the third feeding time from this 1:35 p.m. you add another 6 hours. So 1:35 plus another 6 hours will be 7:35 p.m. It's night time. Okay, so we found out the answer already. Then you just have to conclude your answer there by answering the last question over here. What time should he feed the fish? So hence the fishes are fed for the third time at 7:35 p.m. This one you just answer according to your own words, your own sentence. You can say he should feed the fish for the third feeding at 7:35 p.m. Also can. Are you okay, class?
Yes, madam.